Hello everyone, my name is Kate Davis and I'm a Youth Services Librarian at the Jersey City Free Public Library. Today I'm going to be helping you sign up for OverDrive using a computer. So get your computer, get your library card, and let's get started. One thing to note before I start to share my screen is that I thought that you could see my mouse, and it doesn't seem like you can. So I'm going to be imposing a red mouse to show where I'm clicking on each page. So look for that red mouse to know where to follow along. All right, let's get started. You should have your library card ready and your device. So we're going to go to the JC library. And we're going to go to databases. And then you can see all of the digital services that we offer. You can even see some of our virtual programming. And we're going to go down to OverDrive. And then you're going to sign in. Type in your card number. My card number will be blurred out. And then you should have a 4-digit PIN number. And sign in. And now you're in. Now, OverDrive also has an app called Libby. So that's actually the app that I have on my device because I like to use my phone. I listen to audiobooks when I'm driving in the car. And on that note, let's see how we can search for different things. So just to point out some of the different collections, there are ebooks if you prefer to read. There are audiobooks. Like I said, I love listening to audiobooks in the car, and then videos. So let's just explore. I'm a youth services librarian, so let's look at some of the read-alongs that we have. Okay, and so you can see there's lots of options. Let's see what Dora the Explorer has. Okay, so when you find a book that you like, you just press borrow. You can change the amount of days. Since I probably won't really need this book, I'll just borrow it for 7 days so it's available to other people. And then I can read in the browser. And you can go down, let me see if I can show this better, to start narration.
Nickelodeon, Dora the Explorer, back to school. It was the first day back to school, and Dora was so excited to go. She went into her closet.
Okay, so I'm going to pause the narration. Also, if you don't want to have it narrated, you can just read it yourself. All I'm doing is clicking my mouse, and you see my hand is on the page that I want to turn. If I want to go back, then I'll put my hand on the other side, and it will turn it to the other way. All right. So now let's say we're done with that one. And let's say that I want to read, let's try something different. Oh, okay. So we have lots of different things. Let's look at the Babysitter's Club, just because this is a graphic novel. And let's see how you can read a graphic novel. Okay, so you can read it in the browser. If you have Kindle, you can read it with Kindle. I'm going to read it in the browser. And again, so you can turn, now this one is for older readers, so it doesn't have narration. And I want to see, okay, sometimes it will let you zoom into the graphic novel, so that's what I was interested in. But it looks like in this one you can't. So why don't we try reading it with Kindle? I'm not going to set my preferences for that. Okay, so you're gonna type in your information. Okay, so now I'm signed in and I have my Kindle that's attached to my account already. And I'll just click on Get Library Book. And now I'm gonna read it in the Kindle Cloud Reader. So as you can see, it's pretty similar to reading it in the browser, except this one you can zoom into the panel. So I'll show you, as it said, you just double click. So here you can click on the arrow to turn the pages, and it just goes one page at a time, whereas you might have noticed in the browser, it does 2 pages. And then if you wanna look at a certain pane, you just double click, and then it goes bit by bit. So this one could be good for younger readers that are just learning how to read graphic novels. It can be a little bit confusing at first. So this highlights the order that you're meant to read it in, which is basically left to right, going down the page. But anyways, this just really highlights that, so it could be helpful. And then if you want to get out, you just double click again. I would like to know if you can zoom in, but I'm not seeing any zoom. So I'm guessing you can't. When you do it in the app, I think there's a bit more options to zoom. But anyway, okay, so that's how you can read it in your Kindle through the OverDrive database. And now, so we've done young kids, middle-aged, or like young adults. And now let's try something for actual adults. So let's see what Conjure Women is about. All right, so I'm gonna borrow the ebook. So there's, again, lots of options. You can download it as an EPUB, you can read it in the browser, or you can open it with Kindle. Let's try first reading it in the browser. So you can see it's pretty straightforward. And you can choose if you want it to have a black background with white words or a white background with black words. I like it with black in the background and white, so that's why my screen is like this. Yours might be different. And so anyways, yeah, that's how you can read it in the browser. And then you can see if you click in the top corner, you can bookmark the page. If you didn't mean to, you can just click it again and it disappears. And if you click below, it'll turn the pages backwards and forwards. Again, to remind you, if you click here, it will bookmark it or not. And then let's look how you can read it with Kindle. Okay, so it takes me to the Amazon page. I'm already signed in, so I click get the book, and now I can read it in the cloud reader. If you also have Kindle on your device, then it'll show up in your device as well. And then you can, so now you can see it's a bit different. It fills up the whole screen. Again, you can bookmark it by pressing the top corner, the top right corner. And then this one has a bit more options. You can turn to a separate location. So let's say I was reading it in a different, like I was reading it in the browser and I want to skip ahead in my Kindle, then you can put the location. I was hoping that it would offer chapters because we don't really know, but let's say we can guess the page. So yeah, the browser doesn't give options to tell us the page. So I guess you would just have to play around with it. I guess that could be an option if you were reading a book and then you go into the Kindle. And like I said, I was hoping that it would offer it by chapter. Let's experiment. Let's go to the table of contents. Okay, so let's say I read to slavery time. I can click and then there, I can link to it that way. All right, and so that's how you can read ebooks. Now let's look at some audiobooks. Great narrators. Now I have to say, because again, I love listening to audiobooks. Oh, one of my favorite authors and voices when I'm reading is Jason Reynolds. So I'm going to search for Jason Reynolds. Oh, okay. And he writes a lot of YA books, young adult. Long Way Down is very beautiful. Oh, well, it is checked out. So yeah, so if you have a book that you want, you can push, place a hold. So I'm going to place a hold. I'm going to put in my email address. Oops. So it will notify me when it's released. And so it tells you I'm number 3 on 0 copies. Oh, the license has expired. Okay. And then I can look at all the other books that I have on hold. And so since this one, there's no copies, I can remove it. Or if I did it by accident. Let's see what other books are available. Okay, so Stamped is a very popular one. So these all have place a hold, and I just showed you how to do it. So let's go to All American Boys, because I can see here that it's available to borrow. So I'm actually just gonna click on borrow and push borrow. And let's read it now in the browser. Okay, so because I thought that I had set it to audiobooks, but I can see now if I'm looking that this is an ebook. And there aren't any audiobooks. Oh, here's one, but we don't own it. I'm going to recommend that we get some of those audiobooks. But I could also specify okay, so let's go back to the collections. Let's see what some audiobooks are. So we can see there's a lot of audiobooks. I'm just gonna click on the prank. I'm going to borrow it. And again, you can change it. I keep mine at 7 days because I'm going to return these anyway. And now I can listen in the browser. So all it is you push play.
Nightfall, The Prank. Written by Ashley Ray Harris.
Now, sometimes, like if I'm in a book club and it's a book that I'm not particularly interested in, I speed it up. So do you see if as I click, it gets faster and faster, and it goes all the way to double speed. So let's just try 1.5 speed so you can see what that's like.
Darby Creek, Minneapolis, Learner Publishing Group. To my best friend, who always has my back. Chapter 1. Jordan made her way to school, taking in the crisp.
So you can see it's not too fast if you get used to it. And then let's say you like to listen to it while you're going to sleep, or let's say you're cooking and you want to set a timer. You can set this sleep timer and you can push it. If I if I drag it down, what have I done? Okay, I'm gonna reload and see. There we go. So drag it down, you can change it to whatever time you want. So let's say I'm cooking pasta and I want to listen for 10 minutes. And when the audiobook goes off, I know I need to check the pasta. So you can set the timer. And again, you can bookmark, you can make a note. This is, I find helpful with nonfiction. So things that I want. So I can say like, oh, this is a great idea. Try this idea for holidays. And then I've got that note. Oh, so I push save. And then if I click on the bookmarks, you can see I can add another one. And then over here, I can skip chapters. Again, let's say, it doesn't seem like there are chapters for this one. So usually there are chapters listed there. And then bookmarks, you can see, or is this just teaching me about them? I want to see my bookmarks. It also gives an overview and gives you the information about how much you've been reading. And this tells you where you are in the book. Did I not save the bookmark? Oh. Testing. I'm gonna save it, and now let's see if it pops up. Okay, so there's my note. And yeah, so that is how you listen to audiobooks. And let's try a video. I'm gonna watch RBG, so I'm gonna borrow it. You can see that the videos you have for less amount of time. So again, I'll just do the shorter amount of time. And again, you can watch now in the browser. And there you go. You can skip around by clicking down here. You can adjust the volume, pause it. If you scroll down, then you can see the information. So you can see Jane and James are her children. So it looks like her children are part of it. And then if you want to make it full screen,
Cornell was a preferred school for daughters.
Okay, as I go over it. Oh, and then if you come down here, you can do picture in picture or full screen. And if you want to exit, you can press escape or press that button. And there you go. And then you can also browse by subjects and through formats. So let's say I want an audio book about horror, getting ready for Halloween right now. And then you can see if it's available, if there's a wait list. So sometimes I just want to read a book right away, so I'll only look at what's available. So I can go to the availability on the left side and just put available now, and it will only show me the books that I can check out right now. And let's say, you know what, I don't really want horror, so I can exit from that search term, and then it will give me more things. Now, you can see there's also books in other languages. So if I wanted to read Perdida, I could go over and choose the language. And I see there's lots of English and lots of Spanish. I could just click on Spanish. And then I will only see the Spanish versions of the books. Okay, so now let's exit all of these. Oh, and I can just do clear all, so I don't have to click on them all. And then, so it's keeping me in audiobooks, but let's try language again. And then we can see all of the languages that are available. So we have English, Spanish, French, Italian, Chinese, Arabic, Japanese, Hebrew, Hindi, Russian, and Urdu. So let's see what we have in Japanese. So there we have it. And then I see all my loans here. I can borrow 8 more titles. And then if I want to see what all the limits are, so I can have 15 loans, I can have 10 holds, I can renew, I can have a wish list, and I can recommend 3 titles to the library. So for example, I want to recommend that they get some more Jason Reynolds. So if I click on my account, I can go to recommendations and I can learn how to make a recommendation here. So this is what it looks like in our library collection. So I guess there's some different things. So availability, recommend to the library. Okay, so let's try this. So I'm gonna go, okay. Oh, there we go. Jason Reynolds. And so if I keep scrolling down, didn't find what you're looking for. So I want this audiobook. I'm gonna click recommend. And now it has been recommended to the library. And hopefully we'll see it soon. And then you can check it out by the time you're watching this video. And what else is there to explore? I think that's everything, because we talked about Kindle. No notifications, and then this is again where we manage everything. Now let's say, okay, I have listened to the prank. I will return it so that other people can take it and return title. So you don't have to wait the full amount of time if you're a quick reader. And so I'm just going to, well, I won't make you watch me return all of these, but that's what I'll do. In the future, I'm going to return them all so that if you saw something you liked, you can read it. And then, yeah, these are all the things that you can do with your accounts. You can manage your loans, your holds, your wish lists, your rated titles. So after you've read it, if you love it, okay, so let's say All American Boys, you can give it 5 stars if you thought it was amazing. You can give it 1 star if you didn't. I love Jason Reynolds, so I'm gonna give it 5 stars. And yeah, you can recommend your history. So we can see all of the books that we have borrowed. So if I read a book last month and it was so great and I want to tell a friend about it, but I can't remember what it was, I can scroll through here and I can remember what it was. And then the settings. So it will save the amount of time that you would like to borrow books. I'm going to put these up because usually I like to have the most amount of time. And I can choose if I know that I don't want to read children's books or young adult books, or then I can choose, okay, only show me books for adults. I don't care. But since I'm a youth services librarian, I do like to see the kids' books. And you can do, again, like I said, I like to have the black in the background and white in the front. So since this is the first time I signed in on a computer, I'm going to choose that option. And then we also have dyslexic fonts. So that will help you read it if you are dyslexic, which is nice. And let's see, there's a new feature. So you can always be reading. Oh yeah, this is a nice feature for deliver later. So let's say you put a book on hold and it shows up at a time when you're reading 3 other books and you don't have time to read it at that moment. You can click deliver later and you can choose another date for it to come back to you, and hopefully when it comes back, then you're ready to read it. All right, so hopefully that explained all of the features of OverDrive. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me. I'll put my email address here, and happy reading.